Yo, yo, tis I. Anyways, I'm here to review Twilight One because why not? I was like listening to it because I listened to the first episode of the original Star Trek, and I was like, visually it's cool, but like I rather just listen to it because I like radio shows. So then I started listening to Twilight, but just like on audio. Well, I watched like the first minute, then I just listened to it like 20 minutes. I just like listened to it. And I was like, this sounds good. So I started watching it. And I watched the entire first Twilight. And it was so good. Like, it's cheesy when it needs to be cheesy. It's like tacky when it needs to be tacky. But again, it's a consistent cook. Yeah, it's totally sappy. The dialogue is kind of like imperfect, like high schooly, like dreamy type of thing. But I think it all works. It all makes sense. It's all tied in together really well. You got Robert Pattinson, you got freaking Taylor Lautner, you have Kristen Stewart, all fantastic, all doing still good stuff right now. Yeah, they're all good. What was it? It was directed by Melissa Rose, the screenplay was written by Melissa Rosenberg, who also wrote like Jessica Jones and the rest of this Twilight series. And I freaking love Jessica Jones, so like that makes sense. That makes sense why I would like this movie. And then the director was Catherine Hardwicke, and she did all again a really good job. I think because I only skimmed through the second one, and the second one was directed by some other person, so I wasn't really that invested into it. But like I feel like there's a lot of like. I think the first movie was really good. I feel like everyone was on track to what the movie is, to like that like recreation of the novels by Stephanie Meyers. And I think that's why the first movie worked. But I think the second movie's kind of petered off into like, it's a perfect story kind of for the movie. For one, is good. They kind of just added shit basically just to carry on the series. I don't know the books by Stephanie Meyers. I don't know anything like that, but that's how it felt. It felt like, because I only skimmed through the second one like really quickly, and I was like, all right, it seems like they're just like making shit up so the story can continue, and I feel like they didn't go in a good direction of the story to progress. So I was like, I'm not gonna watch it up. But the first one, I feel like it just has a really good story that goes from like believable. She always likes Edward. Then she likes freaking Taylor Lautner's character a little bit. Is that kind of like settling versus like taking that risk for the one you love, basically. And like it's very realistic. It's very believable. Everything makes sense, except the freaking my only like nitpick is like, oh, he's like him in the light. Edward in the light is Robert Pattinson's character in the light is like he's diamond skin. He looks basically the same. Oh my god, I look hideous. Like whatever. Yeah, that was stupid. That was like the only one thing that I was like, all right, this is stupid. But I think overall the movie's Twilight One's a masterpiece because it does what it sets out to do. Like everything is believable, everything you care about in the entire story, and I feel like nothing's like, oh my god, I don't care. Like everything's like, that kind of makes sense. Also, this kind of makes sense. So I feel like just on that aspect alone, I don't know. It's like there's not much to go on. It's just a simple kind of love story that just has a lot of obstacles, and all of them are believable. There's a little bit of mystery. There's a little bit of intrigue. There's like drama, and like I don't know. I feel like every like character that's in the movie, whether it's like the Carlisle family and all that stuff, whether it's the rival vampires and things like that, I feel like everything is very. I think the word is tactful, but everything just makes sense. Like the addition of other characters besides the main three, like should be there, and it makes sense that they're being there, and the actions that they're doing also make sense. So it's not like, I don't know. I feel like any movie I watched, the majority of movies I watched recently, it's like people just show up randomly, they do random stuff, and then they leave, and you're like, It was a movie with Ki Hugh Kwan. Ki Hugh Kwan. It was this like love movie where he's like a realtor, but he's also like an assassin. And then like they just kept adding characters left and right. And I'm like, it was Love Hurts. There we go. It was Love Hurts. I think 2025. And like random people just kept showing up. And it was like, oh, this is a new character. Oh, this is a new character. Also, they have nothing to do with the story. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? This is too much. Like, it just never stayed like concentrated. And I feel like this movie just stays focused on what it's about. It doesn't get like lost in the noise, and I don't think there's a lot of noise, and I think it's very like cool. Like I think the costume design is amazing. I think the setting and the set is all believable, realistic, and everything tied in. I think the friends character, all the characters who are the friends, are all believable as friends. I think that the style and the aesthetic, whatever filter they use, I think everything was the correct choice. Was on like exactly what it's supposed to be, and I think that's why the movie works. I feel like it's just not like, it knows what it is, it does what it's supposed to do, and like it leaves like intrigue, and there's ambiguity. Well, I can't say that word. Ambiguity, like throughout the film, where it's like, all right, you know they're vampires, but you don't know enough of the lore of the story. You kind of just get like a folktale here, a folktale there, but you never get everything basically. And I like that, because it's not like, I don't want like for this specific world to answer all the questions, to say, all right, this is exactly how it's all gonna go out. It's gonna be this character is gonna do this character is gonna do this character, and then that's it. No, I like how, like, that's kind of the fun of spooky, kind of mysterious, like monster worlds. It's like you don't know everything, and you want to keep discovering, but you also want to keep thinking, and like maybe input your own kind of take on the character, or your own kind of take on vampires, on werewolves, on whatever it is. Yeah, and like I think whatever the vampire TV show, I feel like they don't do that well. I feel like they're like, this is exactly what the lore is, until we like add something else to the lore, and then this is exactly what it is, and then I think Supernatural TV show is like more of like, this is a whole arc, and this is another arc because a new writer showed up, and this is a different arc because a new writer showed up. But we're gonna like add some like flimsy through line throughout the whole thing and just go with it, kind of thing. Whereas like, just finish that part of the story, then do a new one. They're monster hunters. There's like no limitation to it. Like, don't set limitations. And I feel like this movie accidentally doesn't set any limitations on anything, and everything's believable. The one rule of just like basically not getting seen by human beings and making like noise basically is just like being like vampires, like secretly basically makes sense. That is how they survive for so long. And like, again, like I feel like the movie's really good because of Melissa Rosenberg's screenplay, and how it just knit really well. It's just like woven and built really well to, like, there's not any plot holes. Maybe like every movie has plot holes, but there's not any glaring plot holes. They're not anything that like is just like out of place and just like head scratching for a freaking monster movie romance basically. Like, everything works. And like, that's why I would say this movie is a masterpiece, because I feel like everything works. The movie does what it set out to do, and I feel like there's just really good appeal to like the characters of the main three of Taylor Lautner, Kristen Stewart, and Robert Pattinson. I feel like there is like a on-screen chemistry and dynamic that actually works. That like everything kind of feels believable. It feels organic. It feels like Taylor Lautner is a werewolf, that freaking Robert Pattinson is a vampire, that Kristen Stewart is just like, just regular, like not popular girl from Arizona whose parents have stuff going on, and she just moves with her father in this, like, what is it, Alaska or wherever it is. I don't know where it is. This kind of like small town basically. I feel like everything works, It's just like, why does Scooby-Doo work? Because everything works, and it's not like too realistic. And I feel like this movie is realistic enough, but it isn't trying to be like, yo, this is super serious. It's also like, just like whatever, but it's not like this is like a joke, silly, like cartoon sketch. This is serious, but also like, don't think too much about it. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like all the pieces came together. Freaking all the people who was a part of this movie, I think, did a really good job. And I feel like everyone was on the same freaking schematics or architectural plans of what the movie was, and it worked. So yeah, Twilight 1, I think, is a freaking banger. I think it's a masterpiece. Yeah, I know. It's like, again, like like you can't, like, to me, like, I think I said this before for my last screenplay. It's like, how are you gonna say that freaking Paul Thomas Anderson is not like one of the best directors of all, or one of the greatest director of all time? Because he is to somebody, like, especially the people who do specific things. Like, this is like a YA teen, like, romance movie. You know, that's what it is basically. Or like young adult or teen movie, basically. That's what the movie is. It's not like freaking The Godfather or like freaking like Schindler's List. So like, don't, like, I know, like, I don't know, like, it's not that. So like, it doesn't have to get that category of just like, oh, it can't be a masterpiece because it's this. That's the genre. That's what it is. You like, you know, it's like this, for what the genre is, for what the type of movie it is, for its style and and its like world, it's fantastic, you know. And that's just my take on it. But also I think I'm right. So anyways, I like, I'm right anyways. But it's a masterpiece. It's well done. Yeah, and I don't know, like, I feel like there's not a lot of movies that are in like the young adult world that are on screen that are good, and I think that like have that type of like cheesiness, you know. I feel like they're all TV shows. All the ones with like Mean Girls, some of like just some ABC shows and stuff like that, or Freeform as they're calling now, do a good job and things like that. Maybe some CW TV shows, like, you know, like have a season or two that are not like hot garbage or whatever like that. But yeah, I feel like there's not a lot of that young adult YA romance-y stuff that like actually goes like the distance. That's actually good, you know. That's actually not like, all right, this is like the best, like, we have this character, and then the whole thing is like garbage and it gets too corny, or the dialogue gets too cheesy or unbelievable, or just shit's going on. You're like, whoa, I don't know what's going on. Like, what happened to the believability of this like story? Yeah, and especially once you get like, especially in for TV shows, you have like a writer's room with a lot of writers. So like, you might not always have the best writers. Maybe they're passionate about it, but they're not always the best writers. So I feel like this is one of the better like young adult YA romance, just media works or whatever is out there. And it deserves the hype. It is properly rated. But yeah, I really liked the movie. I really thought it was like, I don't know, I thought it was just nice, you know. I thought it was nice, you know. I think it did everything it was supposed to. Yeah, and I feel like it didn't feel too long. It didn't feel like I was there for eons freaking watching a movie or whatever. Like, it just like told a good story, and it was like, all right, go home, basically. So yeah, Twilight 1, I enjoyed it.